Hey guys, Patrioticastacker here. Welcome T the Silver Stacker as our sixth guest to Patriotics interviews. Hey T, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. It's good to see you. It's This is my first interview like this with another stacker, and it's an honor to be make your top 10, man.
Yeah,
To be
I'm
your sixth guest like this. Thanks for having me on.
awesome. I appreciate it. I'm the first guy that's ever interviewed you, huh?
As far as like other stackers, yeah, I'm
Oh
usually
wow,
the one doing the interviews and interviewing other people, not the other way around.
awesome. Well, I appreciate it for you coming on. I really do.
Hey, no problem.
Um, so what gave you the reason to start stacking? Why'd you start
Oh,
stacking?
yeah, like most people who are into stacking, I kind of was a collector from way back.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I collected coins. My mom was a cashier at a supermarket and then later on at a gas station. And so she would bring me her cool finds from the cash register till. She'd take a buck to work and sometimes come home with a couple of mercury dimes or a pre 65, quarter, or even sometimes a half dollar, something like that. And she would bring these little treats home to me, and that was always exciting to receive those. And I would stash them away, and the interest in coin collecting grew. Then, as an adult, I realized that it was something to do as a vehicle to save my wealth, and so I did it a little while pre-kids. Once I started having kids, a lot of the extra income that I would have put away for that saving kind of went towards baby formula and diapers and everything else. Life
Uh,
happens. And then
yeah,
most recently, a couple years ago, I started getting back into it as my kids are older now. And pulling out, I had always pulled out my old coin collection from time to time. Then I started getting into it and going to coin shops, and just um, the whole interest came back to me. And a big catalyst was realizing, hey, there's other folks out there just like me. I stumbled upon Silver Dragons and Yankee Stacking and Salivate Metal,
absolutely
and
great channels.
some of the big ones that we all watch,
Yeah,
and kind of got hooked.
absolutely.
And the interest and the value in it just ramped up from there. I saw more and more wisdom in saving my wealth through stacking.
Absolutely. And it gives you more drive watching a lot of these guys on YouTube as well.
Honestly, yeah, it really is inspirational.
Yeah. Absolutely. I started when I've been stacking for almost 9 years,
Hmm.
but I'm new to YouTube. I've only been on YouTube for about 3 months.
Yeah,
And
hey, you're off to a good start. How many
yeah,
subs you
absolutely.
have now?
Close to four. I think it's almost 400. I haven't checked today.
That's pretty rapid growth, and congratulations on that. And I think people are digging what content you're putting out, so that's a good sign, man.
I appreciate it, T. Thank you so much. And
Mhm.
actually, you and Savage Stacker, Yankee, and SD were actually the first channels I started watching
Okay.
when I started watching YouTube, and I enjoy your interviews. And what made you start doing the interviews with these guys in LCSs and stuff?
Uh, you know, um, I just thought it would be an interesting thing to do. I saw some of the other folks doing it, and I decided to give it a try myself and put my own twist on it. I think one of the things that I do that's slightly different than a lot of other guys is that I don't go to the same coin shop over and over and over and over and ask the same guy questions. I like to mix it up and get different perspectives. And it always amazes me how we're all doing something that's pretty similar, but you can get 20 different perspectives by asking 20 different people similar questions. And I think that's one of the kind of the recipes for success that I've had, and I think it's resonated with my viewers.
Absolutely. I've noticed it. I really enjoy them because you don't you're going around a bunch of places and you're asking them different questions on their shops and what sells most and everything. And it's very interesting, especially in the
Yeah,
area, and how much one shop is different from the other. and what they
Yeah.
sell
The
more
other
and
cool
stuff.
thing is also, like from my perspective as a stacker, not only as a content creator, but walking into, again, a dozen different coin shops, everything is different, and at one coin shop, they might specialize in something. Others, you might find hidden gems, and that's the beauty of walking into a coin shop.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what made you start doing YouTube, T?
Oh, you know what? It became a hobby during the shutdown. And after watching video after video, and seeing some of the greats and some the mediocre, and some of the folks that were trying it that, were just giving it a try and pretty raw, I thought, well, hey, what do I have to lose? Why not? Why not just make a video and see if I can do this? And so November 1st, 2020, I made my first video, and it sure wasn't a hit. I could tell you that. Barely
Yep.
anybody saw it. And but then I actually figured out the process. All the technical stuff. What does it take? How do you upload? How do you splice? How do you edit a video? And most of that stuff are things I've never done before. And so one of the side benefits of doing it is that the what I've learned has helped me in my career as well. And that's kind of a side benefit. But I've learned a ton along the way. So it's been a fun hobby. And I'll tell you, when I was in your position, I was marching towards that and hoping to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark so I could be monetized. I've realized over the years that being monetized is a neat honor, but it's for anybody who doesn't know, YouTube content creating is not any kind of like lucrative endeavor in our space, in our niche. Think about it, like half of 1% of the whole world population knows anything at all about coin collecting or silver stacking. So it's a really small demographic. So it's not like you and I are going to make these videos that get, you know, 10 million views or something like that. I mean, that would probably be lucrative, but we're mostly chugging along as a hobby, and it's been a fun one. I've loved it all along.
Absolutely. And I've noticed you've grown a lot. Congrats on your 4,000 subscribers.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
You just
honestly, it's a big honor. Uh, there's quite a few content creators in our space, and there's some awesome ones. And to gain viewers and have people dig what we do, it's a tremendous honor.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's not really that easy doing YouTube. It actually gets expensive, and you got to make sure you're putting out great content. It's not that easy like people think it is.
No, no, especially if I'm traveling around all over God's green earth, going to these coin shops, putting gas in my truck and, buying the equipment and all that stuff. So it really is a
Absolutely.
labor of love.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we all know your favorite coin is the Libertads.
Oh yeah, there's
Now,
one right here.
why are those your favorite? Explain what brings you to those coins.
For starters, I'm half Mexican myself, so and
Oh
I've
wow.
traveled throughout Mexico extensively, not just like the tourist spots. Of course I've been to Cancun and Puerto Vallarta and Acapulco and all the normal places that people go. But I've also spent a lot of time throughout the interior of Mexico, traveling along the countryside and going to different towns and villages. My wife's got family there. I've got friends there, and I've traveled around, and I love the country. I love Mexico, and so naturally, I would be interested in Mexican coinage. I've even bought some when I was down there. Wish I would have bought more at different festivals and stuff. There's coin collect. There's how people are vendors on the street and like
Yep.
markets and things like that. I've found coins in neat places like that. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is that as I would go to shows and shops, even years ago, way before YouTubing and all that stuff,
Hmm.
whether it was Mexican onzas or, matter of fact, here's one right here, Mexican onzas or Libertads or other Mexican coins. I found them very undervalued. They would be relatively cheap to pick up. And so, what's not to love about silver that's relatively cheap? I would say that it's a recent phenomena over the last only year and a half, couple years, that everybody in the world has gone bonkers over the Mexican Libertad. Here's another Mexican coin that's not a Libertad, but really cool nonetheless. That
Oh,
everybody loves that iconic eagle and snake on the cactus.
oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
and here's one of my favorites right here. Hopefully you could see this one. I did a whole video on this Guatemala coin right here, and it's certainly a beauty. They only made it for a couple of years, so I'll send you some links so you could put it in your video description if people want to check out and learn a little
Yeah,
bit more about Mexican coinage.
absolutely,
But the
absolutely.
prices, my gosh, I've been working my butt off trying to put this Libertad collection together from '82 to present, and the thank goodness I had like over 90% of them prior to the price just shooting through the roof. And now
Absolutely.
that they're so expensive, I'm having a tough time finding my 1997 and a couple others that I need to complete my collection.
We have a question for you, T, from
Sure.
Savage Stacker.
Yeah.
How many Libertads do you have?
Mm, that's a good question. I haven't counted in a while. Matter of fact, that's one of the things that we all have our strengths and weaknesses. I actually wish I was a little bit better about keeping a good spreadsheet and accounting and all that stuff.
Hmm.
It's well over 100, probably in the
Wow.
neighborhood of 150-ish or so.
Wow.
I have because I have all the years except for four, if I remember correctly. But for every year, whenever I'd see one, even if I had one already, I'd snatch it up. So, matter of fact, I just bought 10 more from Tommy down at Hoosier Coin and Currency. You may have seen my most recent video with him. Cool, really
Yep.
cool
You
coin
did an
shop
interview
owner
with
from.
him.
Yeah, just did an interview with him, and
Yep.
God knows where he got them, but he got a hold of some and was offering them at a good price. So there goes 10 more right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And I,
so they just keep coming in.
I noticed that, like, by you, the Midwest area,
Mhm,
down closer to the border of Mexico, versus up northeast where I live in New York,
mhm,
um, it's harder to find Libertads
mhm.
over here versus by you.
Yeah, honestly, even here, they're kind of hit and miss.
Right, yeah.
You can go into any store and ask for a Britannia. You can go into any store and ask for a Krugerrand, and they'll pull out their tubes and tubes of them. And if you find them in a coin shop, even around here, you're pretty lucky. There's in my area, there's a pretty large Mexican population,
Hmm.
and I think I'm not unique in any way, shape, or form of being of Mexican heritage. I think a lot of other uh, Mexican collectors and stackers love these things just as much as I do, and so they
Absolutely.
snatch him up too. But I think it's gone universal though. Everybody loves them now.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful. They're definitely one of my favorite coins. Um,
Mhm.
which one is your favorite design? The 90 82 to 95, the 90, the late 90s there, or the 2000s? Out of the three designs, which one is your favorite?
Oh, you know what? I really like the old school ones. Here's an old school one right here in really good shape, by the way. I was just looking at it recently, and I'm like, wow, this thing is in great shape. But I did a video on what I've classified as the four different types. I'll send you that link too, by the way. And so type three is a type that really appeals to me because it's the larger size, like this. Matter of fact, gosh, this is a type three right here. It's the larger size, bigger than the type one or type two, but unlike, let's see if I have a type four. unlike the Type 4 that has the one coat of arms in the middle and the 9 or 10 around it, the Type 3 has just one gigantic image of the national symbol there, the snake eating the eagle eating the rattlesnake on the cactus there. So that's the different. I kind of like these Type 3s because they're larger and you can really see this obverse better. And that's another little known fact. What I'm showing you right here is the obverse of the coin, the front of the coin, and the Angel of Independence is actually the reverse. That's most people don't know that.
Oh wow, I did not know that either.
Mhm.
Now, the Type 3, what years were those made?
They only made them for a few years, so let's see. I went late '90s, like 97, 98. I have to go back and double check, but I think they only made them for like 3 years before they switched over to the uh, coat of arms with all the other little coat of arms around it.
Okay, interesting. We have a couple people in the chat T that are saying hi to us. We have Silverstruck,
Okay,
Patriotic
hi guys.
Patriotic Stacker, Patriot Stacker, not
Oh
patriotic.
yeah,
Savage
yeah, he's
Stacker.
got a great channel too.
Oh, did you see his one video with the Wild West coins?
That was one of my favorite that he's ever done. So
Oh
if
wow,
anybody
that
who's
was
watching this right now missed it, man, he put you got to take your hat off to a guy when you know he put that much time and effort into a video. And I would be willing, Patriotic or Patriot could tell us, in the chat if he wants, but I'm guessing he put at least 12, 14, 15 hours, who knows, maybe more,
oh yeah.
because every detail of that was just spot on, perfect, great imagery, music in the background. I mean, it was awesome, man. So anybody missed that, you might want to put that link in the description too.
Yeah, he just commented. He said, "Thanks, guys. I just put out another history video out today.
Hmm. I
Keep it
love
up, Patriot."
history. Another one who does a lot of history is named Aloha Stacker. So,
Oh, I like
um,
Aloha. Yeah.
yeah, he's great. He's kind of like the channel that the channel creators watch, and he's like really excellent, very thorough with his research, and one of my favorites.
There's so many great guys out there. So
There
many,
sure are.
and it's everyone has their own little trademark, I would
Hmm.
say. But we also have Big Red Bullion that saying hey. So you ever
How's
heard
it
of
going
him,
there, Big
T?
Red?
You've heard of Big
What's
Red?
it? No, Big Red. No, no.
He makes
There.
poured bars, and he's
Oh,
probably one of the biggest in the community when it comes to
really? I
pouring.
have to check him out because, like, I'm just kind of getting into vintage silver, and this is an extruded bar. I think the only poured bar that I have is Pistol Packing Pilot's
Pilot, yeah.
uh, channel piece here. I don't know if you'd call it a channel round, but it's a channel piece of some sort.
Yeah.
But the design is amazing from Rat Stack. I'm sure Big Red is familiar with him, and
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I look. I don't know. I've been kind of hesitant to get into poured stuff. Not that I don't like it. I think it's cool as heck. I love it. But I'm afraid that once I get in, I'll get so sucked in. I'll be, spending a lot of money on that. I always try to mix it up by doing cool old stuff and then base stack, cool old stuff, and then base stack. By base stack, I mean my junk silver 90% or constitutional, whatever your choice of vernacular is, and
Hmm.
also my generic stuff, as close to spot as I can possibly get, which is not an easy task. So if I start dipping into poured silver, which I may, it could be dangerous.
You got to get a channel round, T.
I've got something in the works right now, and I've been thinking about it for quite a while, and I've got something that I think, in my mind, I have not seen anybody else do, and I don't want to, spoil the surprise for when I roll it out, but I've got something in the works that I'm going to experiment with.
Awesome. Awesome. And quick correction: Big Red doesn't do pours; he does sand casting.
Okay.
So it's a little harder than pouring, a lot harder.
Yeah, I need to tune in and check out what that's all about.
Oh, he makes some great things. Anything that you can possibly think of. He's
Hmm.
actually working on a channel round of. I'm making a channel round, and he's actually working on that.
Hmm.
So I
Cool.
can't wait till that's out. But
Well,
what was
put
that
me
too?
down for one. I'll be highly interested in yours.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. And like I said, everyone I do an interview with, I usually send out a poured bar because I make bars as well.
Oh, you
I don't
do?
sandcast. I pour. I make
Okay.
molds. But I will send one out to you.
Oh,
Um,
cool. I'll be happy to show it
yep.
off and hopefully steer some viewers your way.
I
I
appreciate it.
remember what it was like kind of starting off, and you're way ahead of where I was at the 3 month mark. Um, and it can be a little discouraging, when you when you're chugging along and putting out what you think is really good content, and very few people are seeing it. But then, as a matter of fact, I almost gave up at one point.
Hmm.
But I stuck it out with the encouragement of really one of my viewers was really influential in encouraging me. His initials are GE, and it was something I'm really glad I did. I'm glad I stuck it out and didn't just give it up. Um, Being in it for a while now, I've seen other people that I came in to content creating at the same time with, trying to kind of go by the wayside and give it up.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of people just give up their channels. Absolutely. But what I
Hmm.
noticed when you think about it, you started in November 2020. You
Hmm.
only been doing it for what's that? 2 years? Not even a year and a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
over a
it's
year.
yeah, a year and a few months or so.
And look at what you've got now, man. 4,000 subs in just a year.
Yeah, it really is
So
humbling
yeah,
to know that the other cool thing that I talked to my wife about is that like it's crazy that some dude from Sweden will be watching, and then some guy from Australia will comment, and then you've got people from all over the world that a lot from the UK, Canada, of course, Mexico, and of course all over our great country. And it's fun to hear. And I've traveled our country very extensively, and we obviously we have the best country in the world,
you ain't
and
kidding.
it's neat to see people from all corners and everywhere in between.
Absolutely. Stacking perpetrators in the house, saying, hey, everybody.
Hi there.
What's up, Silverstruck? Thank you guys all for coming in. I appreciate it. So, we
Absolutely.
also know you love your Mercury dimes.
Yeah, I do. I'm a sucker for those mercs, and maybe it's I like the fractional aspect of it. Maybe it's that back in the 1980s, my mom was handing me two or three mercs, whenever she'd come home from work, um, or what. But for some reason, the merc just really appeals to me. I do like the fractional aspect of it, though.
I'd have to say Mercs would be my favorite as well. Mercs and Walkers.
Hmm.
Those are my two to go to when it comes to buying 90%. But I love it all, man. It's
Hmm.
like a kid in a candy shop. You can't just pick one thing. But what's your newest pickup today? That you've just recently picked up. You have it on your table.
Oh, no, I don't have it on my table.
Hey,
Yeah,
what's
but
your
it's
favorite piece on your table?
oh gosh. Well, this is pretty recent. It's kind of crazy to walk into a coin shop and find a Walter Payton round
Oh wow.
in the generic bin, but I did find that. I do love just like gosh, who doesn't love Inglehards?
Oh my
And
God. Yeah.
this is one of those flatbacks. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. It's just like I like the variety. I really do.
Absolutely.
Some people, here's a vintage bar from the 1980s, a little art bar and I researched this,
You did
and
a video on that,
I
right?
did. I did a video on this one too. And this guy made these bars in the early 80s, for only like 3 years, but it just makes it more interesting to find something like that with a little history. I don't think it's much more valuable than any other, generic or anything like that. I bought it for generic price, but I like the fact that it has history.
Absolutely.
For those guys that can do this, hey, that's cool. But for me, as far as just like buying generic buffaloes and to me, okay, it's cool if you look at it once, but I couldn't go and fill up tube after tube after tube after tube of these
Yeah, me neither.
because it doesn't appeal to
They're
me in
boring.
the same way that the variety of stuff does. And that's just me.
I'm the same way. I only own one tube of buffaloes, and
Hmm.
that's I sold a lot of them and swapped them out with other things because they're just in my opinion, they're kind of just boring.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Generic
the
is
same way with my
generic.
gold. I've and yeah, those I would love to have one of those 1 ounce gold buffaloes, but
Oh, those I love.
I couldn't just stack those exclusively. I like the variety. I like my world gold. My next video is going to be on world gold, and
Hmm.
I like being able to show my viewers something interesting and talk a little bit about the history, but I've always been that way, even prior to being a content creator.
Absolutely. Now you're more into silver than gold, right, T?
Yeah, yeah, I'm way more into silver, probably at a ratio of, I would say, 4 to 1, maybe even higher than that. I'm a silver stacker at heart. I One of the reasons, there's lots of reasons, but I like gold for the stability and what it
Hmm.
represents, and the same reason everybody else loves gold. But I think I like silver for all those same reasons. Plus, I think it has a little more potential to increase in value thanks to the industrial uses. And with all the stuff coming out now with the EVs everywhere, I think silver is my hope is that it'll have a nice steady climb. I don't. I'm not looking for one of those big giant spikes up to 50 and right back down to where you started from. I'd love to
Hmm.
see a nice steady climb into the 30s and into the 40s, and who knows where it would go from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Silverstruck is leaving. See you later, man. Thank you for coming in.
See a
Uh,
silver struck.
Savage Stacker said I traded all my silver buffaloes for a 100-ounce Engelhard bar.
Nice. Man, you can't go wrong with Engelhard.
Oh no, my favorite.
Not only obviously the silver content, but the collectability. As I've kind of learned a little more about Engelhard over the years, and I'm learning more as we go along. But these collectors are diehard. So
Oh yeah,
you get these things, you put them away, and who knows where they'll be in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, whenever.
absolutely. Yeah, Engelhart, I would have to say, is probably one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name, out in the silver community. Um,
Hmm.
it's just iconic, and there's a website dedicated to him. I think it's called allengelhart.com,
Yeah, I've heard
and
of that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it tells you everything on what that if that bar you have right there, if that's rare or how many they made, and it
Mm-hmm.
pretty much gives you an earful, and it
Yeah, and
can tell
everybody
you
loves the
everything.
old prospectors too.
Oh yeah, I have tubes
Uh,
of those because I love those. I can own them all day and not get bored.
oh yeah, and whenever I talk to somebody who is not familiar with silver stacking, they seem to, and I've gotten people into silver stacking. Some of my friends, I
Hmm.
just think the world is going to catch on to what's real. And you
Absolutely.
look at the news and you see people buying NFTs of stupid crap, of electronic images and things like that. I
Oh
think
yeah,
sooner or later people will, everything goes in circles. I think people will eventually come back to what's real, what you and
absolutely,
I and your viewers love and appreciate, which is right here.
absolutely. I try to turn people on all the time on the gold and silver. I tell
Hmm.
them there's so many benefits. It's a way of savings. It's a hedge against inflation. It's a insurance. It's a
Hmm.
long-term investment.
Yep.
A conservative investment. So I tell everybody, you should get into precious metals. That's not the only thing you should get into. Don't put
No,
your eggs
no.
in one
I've got my
basket.
share of aggressive, investments, but as far as my conservative ones, this not only the most solid, I think, for lots of reasons, but the most fun. I mean,
Oh yeah,
let's face
absolutely.
it, it's a lot of fun adding these things, and I'm saving now in ways that I wasn't saving, prior to really getting strong into silver stacking.
Yeah, and not only that, it takes so much more of you to walk in somewhere and want to sell one of these versus or spend one
Sure.
of these versus walking in with a $40 bill and spending that.
Hmm.
That'll go real quick. So
I hear you.
it's definitely helps you to save for sure. But
Hmm.
I guess another. I know you said you can only go for so long today, correct?
Yeah, yeah, I've got some
Okay.
family coming in from South Bend. My brother lives in South Bend, so
Okay.
we're going to hang out, and so yeah,
I'll just ask you one last question then.
sure.
Um, why? What's the reason of you stacking? Is it for hedging? Is it for savings?
I would say mainly for saving. You kind of touched on it before.
Yeah.
I man, I find so much. I'm into a lot of things. I'm into fishing. I'm into mountain biking. I'm into I've got a couple of kids. It's as you mentioned, that $40, man, right out of the pocket, right out of the wallet, time after
Yep.
time. It just flows so easily when you let it. And so I like the idea of allocating what I can. I kind of figure out my game plan every paycheck, how much I'm going to allocate, and I put it towards this. And um, you know, I don't intend on getting rid of it anytime soon. Life happens. Maybe something terrible will happen. God forbid. Maybe there'll be a special opportunity. I've heard of people taking their stacks and cashing them in for real estate, things like that. But my hope is just to hold it as long as possible, and hopefully pass it down to my kids or use it for something that's a vehicle that is helpful to my family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, T, I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Oh, absolutely. My
This was
my
great.
pleasure. It's actually been fun, man. I'd certainly come back again if you'd ever want to do it again.
Absolutely, of course, of course. Whenever you want to come back, we'll do it.
Sounds
Like I
good.
said, you're a legend in the community in my eyes, man. You're one of the big guys, and
Well,
I appreciate it.
you're best wishes for your channel as an up and comer. And I would say just keep chugging along, keep growing, keep honing your skills. Don't ever be satisfied. There have been times where I have spent an hour and a half trying to figure out how to make a cool 12-second segment in my video. And the video might have been 15 minutes, but I spent an hour and a half on that tiny little segment just because I wanted to perfect it and learn, and I just keep growing and with your skills, and people will notice. Trust me when I tell you that they
Absolutely,
appreciate the extra effort, and people can tell. We've all seen content creators kind of mail it in, and you can tell the extra effort when you see it.
absolutely, and I appreciate it. I'm a sponge man. I like to get you know, I wouldn't be here pretty much where I am today if it wasn't for my buddy Savage Stacker.
Mhm.
He's gave me a lot of information, and I'm a sponge. I go to these guys that's
Yeah.
been doing it for a while, and I just soak it up. And then
Hmm.
I try to take my own work on my own trademark in order to be me at the same time, while
Yeah.
taking information from guys like Savage, guys like you,
Yeah.
guys like Silverstruck and all that.
Yeah, well,
But
you're off to a hell of a start, man, and keep up the good work.
thank you so much, T. Yeah, send me those links. Um, let me know when you get that ship the thing I shipped out to you,
Hmm.
and I will see you again, man. I really
Right.
appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Hey, you have a great Sunday and enjoy the rest of your day or rest of your weekend, and I'll keep watching.
You too, T. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. See ya.
See ya. All right, guys. Thank you, Savage. Thank you, Weed Stacker. Thank you, Silver Strux. Thank you, Stacking Prepper Trader. Thank you, Weed Stacker. Thank you, Pyro Couple 570. Trident. Thank you guys for tuning in. Strange Jazz, Big Red Bullion. Uh, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Patriot Stacker. Silver Struck. Money King Metals. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Uh, please like, subscribe, uh, share the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.